Hello and welcome back to my channel. I thought today I would do something different rather than another book review, although there will be some more of those coming as I manage to get through the books that I have. I obviously was bought a number of books at my birthday, so I haven't started any of them yet at the moment. I will be finishing up the one that I've got on Highclere and the Earl of Carnarvon, who discovered Tutankhamun's tomb. I'll do a review of that, and then I shall start on one of the books that I got for my birthday, but I haven't decided which one as of yet. Today I wanted to bring you something different. It's something that is part of my, I think you would call it spiritual path maybe, or belief. I would describe myself as a pagan. I know that may well put a lot of people off, but I'm here being open and honest with people. I would describe myself as a pagan that follows a nature-based path. That's probably the best description. I am very much, I think it's fair to say, following the druidic path, a druid, but I still say a pagan. Something that I use a lot in my practice is tarot and oracle decks, and these three here are probably three of my favourites. They're all, as you can see, the Druid Plant Oracle, the Druid Animal Oracle, and then the Druidcraft Tarot Deck. They're all have been written by Philip and Stephanie Cargom. Philip, this is a husband and wife team. Philip was the head druid of the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, OBOD, which is a large organisation that is in the UK and also around the world, that is obviously a druid organisation. They offer training courses that you can do online, and Philip and his wife obviously did all the, I suppose, the writing that comes with these oracle and tarot decks. And then the artist on all of them is a gentleman called Will Worthington. He has illustrated, he's an illustrator and an artist, and he has illustrated these plus a lot of other oracle and tarot decks. And I do really like his artwork. I think this is I think when it comes to these sort of things, the art that's used and you see is very much what will draw you to whatever oracle or tarot deck you want to work with. I think that's a big part of it. So this very much has a druid focus. It's very much nature-based. And what you get is a pack of cards, and then each card will hold various meanings and interpretations. It also, in all three of these, with the little books that come along with them, will give you some guidance on some spreads or layouts of using the cards in a certain way if you wanted to do yourself a reading. So I generally do one card readings from these, where I'll pull a card from whatever deck and have a think about it, maybe meditate on it, and think about the meaning of it, I'm interpreting it to be for myself. And I find a lot of people use tarot and oracle decks within the pagan community as a source of divination. And I think people find it helpful and useful and, well, interesting if nothing else. Plus the fact you have all these beautiful cards with this lovely artwork on them, which is just really nice to have a look at. And as I say, I'm very much drawn to the work of Will Worthington, although here on this deck he's called himself Bill, but he's generally known as Will Worthington. And as I say, Stephanie and Philip Cargom, heavily involved with the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, OBOD. I know that Philip has stepped away from being the head of the order. That is now held by a lady called Amir Burke, who's based in Ireland. She's now the sort of in charge of OBOD. He's stepped down from that, but he does still do a weekly YouTube, I guess you would call it, podcast for OBOD, where he'll pick on a variety of different subjects. I think if you put Philip Cargom into YouTube, it would pull it up quickly. He's also given lots of talks to lots of organisations about druidry. I think he started off, I want to say, in psychology or psychotherapy, but anyway, yeah, there's loads of videos with him. You'll find lots of videos of him speaking about a variety of different topics. He's still involved with OBOD, just not as the head or not just in charge. So there we go. I thought I'd share these with you. I'm going to show you some of the cards in each one so you get an idea. In terms of, you can definitely get all these cards secondhand as well as new at the moment. They're all still in print as new, and you would certainly be able to source them over time secondhand if you wanted to, if that was something that was better for your pocket. As I say, I do sometimes use them all in combination, or sometimes I use them as individual decks. It depends what I'm using them for and also what kind of mood I'm in as well. I think what we'll do, we'll start off with the Druidcraft Tarot deck, and then we'll come on to the animal one and then the plant one. So we'll start off with Druidcraft first. So this is a tarot deck. Tarot decks traditionally have a total of 78 cards in them, as you can see. And in this one particularly, what you've got is the 78 cards, plus a little book. I'll put that in shot there. And this little book will give you some information about the major and minor arcana, and then go through each card with some keywords and interpretations, the meanings and also the reverse meanings. When they talk about reverse meanings with cards, it's sort of which way around you read them. A meaning would be that way. Reverse is if you read it that way. As you draw the card, it comes out upside down. Tarot cards are separated into the major arcana and the minor arcana. There's the major arcana here, and I'll just go through them as well. And it gives you information on those as well. And you can see here the hexagram spread. It's giving you a little idea of what you can use them for, how you could set the spread out. And at the beginning, it's giving you some information about the cards and about the meaning, and sort of an introduction. So that's the little book. So what do we have? There's 78 cards here. I'm not going to go through all 78, but I just wanted to show you some of the artwork really and the interpretation. As you can see, if I start flicking through, they're very, I apologise now, there's nudity, but there we go. That's a card from the major arcana. These are from the minor. They're very nature-based. I think the artwork is lovely. Well, I think it's lovely on all of them. It's very detailed. There's a lot of meaning in these cards. And obviously, the book that you get with each set of cards really is like the starting off point for meaning. You might want to meditate on them and think more deeply, because you may find there's more within the image that you haven't, again, nudity, I do apologise, that you might want to interpret. As you can see, there's a lot, and there's a lot of detail. I think people are familiar, a lot of people will be familiar with tarot cards, and there are so many available on the market. It's incredible. Whatever art you like, whatever kind of theme you're looking for, whatever kind of interpretation you want to go for, there'll be something out there for you. What I will do one day is go through the major and the minor arcana in another video. So as you can see, there's lots of strong, I would describe these images as quite strong, quite colourful, quite well defined and detailed. So this is Druidcraft. It's based around Druid practice, pagan practice, I guess. So I'm going to put that over there. Next, I'll come on to the Animal Oracle Deck. Now, Oracle decks are a little bit different to tarot cards. You can have as many or as few cards in the deck as you see fit. This is a deck that I was able to buy effectively secondhand. Again, we have a little book. Again, it will give you a little introduction, and then it will go through the cards, giving you the meanings, interpretations. Again, meaning and reverse meaning, the same principle, either the right way up or upside down. And this is all animals. So we have a variety of animals here. And then if you get to here, how to use the cards, a lot of the books for tarot and oracle decks will have this, where you can obviously, they can give you suggestions of what to do and how to choose cards, and whether you do one card or whether you want to do, like here, try and spread. It'll give you, and this is a brief kind of summary of meanings. It'll give you some suggestions. This, as you can see, this has been used. This is an X display set from a shop, a pagan shop. So we've got water dragon, owl, bear, adder, salmon, swan, horse, boar, hare, one of my favourites. And as you can see, again, Will Worthington again puts in a lot of details. The flowers that we've got here, eggs, the stones, the moon, a very moody sky. All of this is all part of the meaning and the interpretation within the card. Otter, frog, air dragon, raven, blackbird, cow, sow, bull, hind, stag, bee, cat, although I think this is supposed to represent a wild cat rather than a domesticated cat, fox, seal, goose, wolf, fire dragon, earth dragon, eagle, hawk, wren. And again, you can see here, there's the eggs, there's the feather, there's the trees, the different trees, and also around every card is this foliage, I guess, not work here, from different trees all the way around the card. And that's the same on every card. Ram, dog, and crane. Again, like here, as an example, you can see there are spirals on the rocks, flowers. It's all got meaning within each image. I'm sorry I didn't count how many cards were there, but clearly not 78, not as many as the tarot deck. So again, with an oracle deck, like the same as a tarot deck, although I think people generally do spreads more with tarot than they do with oracle decks. An oracle deck does lend itself to just shuffling the cards, and then when you're ready, pulling a random card to look at it. And people do like card of the day to see what that is saying for them, what the meaning is, or meditating on the meaning, thinking about the meaning. People do spreads with oracle decks, but I think a lot of people generally like to just pull a card. I like a card for the day. I'll do one or maybe 3 cards. You can have 3 card spread as well. That's quite popular. I think that's what a lot of people do with the oracle decks. So that is the Animal Oracle deck. You could definitely use all 3 together if you wanted to pull a card from all 3. I think that is something that people do also use. So finally, we're on to the Druid Plant Oracle. I really like this set because it's got a really nice sturdy box, which you don't always get with decks. Again, Philip and Stephanie Cargom have done the writing. Will Worthington has done the artwork. This deck has a far more substantial book to it. As you can see, I'll show you the sort of the thickness of it there. It is... it's 144 pages, so it's a lot more substantial. So in this, again, you've got a table of contents there. You've got an introduction. It then goes through all the plants that are in the deck, and this is alphabetically with their upright and reversed meanings, their name, their sort of, what would I say, old Celtic name, and then some Latin as well, or what is said in Celtic names that would have been used at the time, the original time of the Druids, no doubt. And you get, a page or 2 of meanings, of stories relating to the plants, interpretations, and also information about the plants as well, what they can be used for. Plants, obviously, within the Druidic path are very much used for healing, for divination, but particularly for healing, as they would have been done for thousands and thousands of years. Again, it goes through all the media. Then it has some different groupings of cards. There's 3 of them. We have, and obviously with their meaning, we have the Banes, which is here. That talks about wolfbane, henbane, and hemlock, which obviously are poisonous plants. We have the Guardians, that card, which is Elder, Hawthorn and Birch. And this is obviously trees that are very important within the Druidic path. And then the Restorers, Roseroot, St John's wort and Valerian. They are all herbs, plants that are linked to calming, relaxation, sleep, of that nature. And then again, a section, how to use the cards. We've got some spreads in there that you can use, depending on how, and then interpreting the cards. They've given a sample reading here to show you, to give you some ideas. And then we have sort of an index of the cards with their Latin name, their sort of Druidic, Celtic, Gaelic name, I should say, Celtic, Gaelic, Latin name, and then some, upright and reverse meanings, and the page numbers as well. The book's lovely, and it is, as I say, a lot more substantial, which I like. What we also get in this set is a sheet. It's going to probably not got enough room to spread it out here, which gives you a layout of a particular spread called Ermid's Cloak, which you could use if you had a large enough table, or put it on a table, and do a spread with your cards. There's actually two sides to it. There's the cauldron one there, and then there is, oh, there's a cross on this side, not the cloak. Sorry about that. So there's two different spreads on these two bits of this piece of paper. Again, you can see it's quite large. You'd have to have a reasonable amount of room on the table. Then we come to the cards themselves. Again, sort of put together in this nice box. Again, the cards have the same border. Again, we've got the image of the plant, the name, as we had on the Animal Oracle deck. And then, like, for example, here with the nettle, we've got an adder, we've got a butterfly, we've got a standing stone. Again, all elements to add to the meaning. So we'll go juniper, mint, betony. These all, I believe, are plants and herbs that we can find in the UK. Puffball, I'm sure they will be found in elsewhere around the world. Comfrey, flax. This is yarrow. Again, you can see there's a standing stone with a snake on it. There's a snake there. Another plant here. Well, that's the yarrow. Let's find here. What else have we got here? Brambles with their berries on. We've got a rune on the stone here. Mugwort. The bane. So this is hemlock, henbane and wolfsbane, which are poisonous to people, but they've grouped them all together. And then you can see there's actually some arrowheads on there. Wheat, we've got a cross. We've just got primrose, we've got cauldron. There's a spread for a cauldron spread. Garlic. In the UK, you can find wild garlic loads of places. Mistletoe, very important plant to Druids, particularly around, and as we know, all the associations around Christmas. We've got a scythe and a thrush. A scythe would be used to harvest the mistletoe from the trees. Celtic bean, burdock, clover. Got a salmon here. We've got the waterfall. Poppy. We've got a barrow or burial mound here. Chamomile, vervain. We've got the hair. We've got some honeycomb there. These are all, and these berries above it. These are all, yeah, meadowsweet. There we go. We've got like kind of a green man going on there. These extras within the image of not just the plant are all adding into the interpretation and the meaning. Cuckoo pint, that was plantain. Woad, we've got a lovely arrowhead here, and we've got a carved sort of image of a Celtic image of a wild boar. Heather, we've got the bees. Bees love heather. We've got the round houses here. Agrimony. We've got a silver birch. More stones. Ivy. This is the ivy, but obviously it's we've got spiral. We've got a green man here. We've got this. I'm not sure what this plant is, but obviously ivy grows on trees. We've got a rune. Borage. We've got a sword here, sort of some sort of wicker basket. Madder, we've got the goddess, we've got like a scarf, a piece of material tied in the tree, we've got a moth. Madder is used within dyeing. You can dye material, fabric with madder, particularly rose madder. Ferns, we've got lightning, we've got the stream. The guardians, again, this is, we've got the silver birch. elder and hawthorn. So that's the 3 trees, very important to druids, trees, those particularly. Fir club moss. So what do we got? We've got stones. We've got another little plant here. Mandrake. We've got some gold coins here, and then we've got this little plant here. Mandrake. Mandrake root is used often within sort of, is referred to within witchcraft practices. I think people will also be aware of that within Harry Potter as well, when they pull the mandrakes out of the soil. The restorers. So this is St. John's wort, valerian, and another plant that escapes my mind. This is the lady there. She's obviously mixing these up. This will be for relaxing or potions or sleep potions. She's looking out across the valley through the mountains. She's got her cauldron over the fire, and she's obviously just looking out over there. Now these 3 are 3 blank. Hang on, we've got one more. I forgot. Lady's mantle. We've got water droplets. We've got a shield and a gig carved into the stone there, and some lightning coming there. This deck and the Animal Oracle deck also give you 3 blank cards. The idea being that if you wanted to add with your own, like for example, this deck, if there was other plants that you wanted to add, you would be able to write the name and draw some sort of image of that plant on there. So you could add these into the deck when you are pulling them for a reading or consulting the cards for a reading. The Animal Oracle deck also has the blank cards as well. Interesting idea. I've not used them. I don't at the moment have any need for them to use them. Plus my artistic skills are not very good. So I don't feel very confident in drawing a lot of plants, but I guess you could take a photo or find an image of the particular plant and stick it on there. And then obviously write at the bottom there, and it would have then you would interpret that yourself for your own meanings or what you think the card is representing or trying to tell you. So you do get those in both decks. So this is the Druid Plant Oracle. I have to say, out of all the decks, this might be my favourite one out of the 3. I mean, it is Oracle decks are different to tarot decks, so you have to I do like all 3 of them. But I particularly like these. I like the images. I think the book is really good quality. I think they are a bit better quality than the other 2 decks in terms of what you get. Obviously, you have to pay a bit more, but it's decent. It's all decent cardstock. This is the design on the back, the symbol of the Arwen. Very important within inspiration within the Druid world. 3 and 3, both ways. All the cards have that on their back. But it's decent cardstock. It's fairly sturdy. It will take. It's easy. They are quite large. I'll give you my example with my hand there. You can see to shuffle. But I don't have small hands, but I don't have overly large hands. But I find them that they're fine to shuffle with. You could also cut them and do them that way rather than shuffling. But I think this is probably my favourite one out of the 3 at the moment. That might change. So I just wanted to bring you those 3 decks and talk a bit about them. I find them really useful, really interesting. I love the images. I love the meanings. It's part of my life, part of my path. And that's what I like to do. So I hope that people may have found that, oh, I'm very wonky there, may have found that interesting and or helpful. All 3 decks are available. They're certainly available on places such as Amazon. They certainly would be available if you're able to look online for any sort of independent, what you might call spiritual pagan shops. Alternative shops, esoteric, occult shops, you'd certainly be finding them all there. I think if you look on the website for OBOD, you can just Google OBOD, Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. They may well have links on their sites to these decks. If not, you might be able well find a lot of the information on there really interesting. If this is a path or an area of spirituality that really interests you, it's worth checking it out. But you can find all these decks relatively straightforwardly, as I have. So I hope people have found that interesting. Please like, share and subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, then please think about doing that. I will come back with the book review on the book about the Earl of Carnarvon that discovered Tutankhamun's tomb, who obviously resided at Highclere Castle. I've nearly finished that book, and once that's done, I shall do a review on that. And then have a think about what else I'm going to be reading next out of the 4 books I got for my birthday. And I may well come back with other tarot and or oracle deck reviews or sort of talk discussions. So for now, I will leave you. I hope you found that interesting. Please have a think about whether this is something you're interested in yourself. As I say, this is a part of my life, which is important to me. It may well be important to you. So please, you know, leave a comment, make yourself known. It'd be really helpful to know there's others out there. So for now, thank you. Bye-bye.